It is said that in the quiet, moonlit desert, beneath the dust and the wind, there lies a forgotten city, a city that once reached up to the heavens, not in fear, but in reverence. In the stillness of the night, where only the faintest echo of the past remains, we are invited to remember. The stars, so far away in the heavens, were not distant to them. No, they were the very gateways to something deeper, something hidden beneath the earth. Whispers tell us of a time when the stars were not simply guides for wanderers or stories for poets, but sacred marks on a map, a celestial code etched into the very bones of this lost city. We know not their names, these ancient ones, but their civilization existed in harmony with the stars, perhaps even guided by them. In the ruins that remain, their wisdom still waits to be uncovered, if only we knew how to listen. As we journey through this land, the sun's fading light fades into the dust, leaving only the moon to reveal the shapes of the ancient stones weathered, crumbled, but still standing with quiet dignity. It is in the silence that the past breathes its secrets. The wind, soft and still, carries with it whispers from another time, and as it passes through these ruins, it is as though the stones themselves hum with memory. This place, forgotten by time, holds knowledge meant only for those who can see beyond the veil. We walk now where once the city thrived, its walls still bearing the remnants of sacred markings, symbols etched in stone, worn smooth by time but not erased. Each step we take leads us deeper into the dust of forgotten years, each stone a symbol, each ruin a mystery. It is said that the people of this city did not simply look to the stars with wonder. They saw them as markers, as keys to something greater, something hidden beneath the earth, beneath the very fabric of their reality. These stars were not just light in the sky. They were guides to the sacred knowledge buried below. The city itself was a map, a compass pointing to an understanding that stretched far beyond the world as we know it. Beneath the moon's gentle glow, the ruins begin to reveal themselves more clearly. Ancient pillars rise like silent sentinels, their weathered faces telling stories of a time long past. Their surfaces bear symbols not understood, their meanings lost to those who came after. Each symbol, each line, etched with a purpose we may never know, holds a key to a secret buried in the earth. But where are those who understood these codes? Who were the keepers of this knowledge, and where did they go? Some say they vanished with the stars, leaving behind only these cryptic traces of their existence, as though they too were drawn into the very gates of the heavens they once revered. As we step deeper into the ruins, the air grows heavier, thick with the dust of centuries, yet still, there is an unspoken sense of peace. The world seems to have paused here, as if waiting for us to unlock its forgotten wisdom. The stones, with their faint carvings, seem to call us, to ask us to listen. It is said that the city's rulers were not simply astronomers or priests, but keepers of a knowledge that blended the sacred with the scientific. They knew the movements of the stars as one knows the rhythm of their own heartbeat. They understood the heavens not as a realm beyond reach, but as a reflection of the world they lived in, a world connected by invisible threads, threads of knowledge that wove through both the heavens and the earth. The dust, thick and swirling in the gentle breeze, seems to carry more than just sand. It carries with it memories of rituals long forgotten, prayers whispered beneath the stars, and sacrifices made in silence. What was it that they sought in those quiet moments under the night sky? Was it knowledge or peace? Did they understand something that we have lost, something that connected them so deeply to the stars, to the earth, and to the mysteries buried beneath the sands? We pass through what might have been a temple, its stones still warm with the echoes of those who once gathered here in worship. A faint trace of incense lingers in the air, a reminder that even now, though the city is abandoned, it is not forgotten. The walls, though cracked and broken, still seem to whisper of sacred rites of starlight and shadow, of wisdom shared in the stillness of night. This was a place where knowledge was not given freely, but sought with devotion, where the mind and the soul met the cosmos in a quiet, reverent exchange. The deeper we go, the more we sense the presence of something unseen, something waiting just beyond our understanding. The stones seem to breathe with the memory of a civilization that knew how to listen, how to understand the subtle language of the stars. But now, that language is lost to us, and the city lies in ruins, buried by the sands of time. Still, the whispers remain, faint but persistent, like the soft hum of a song we cannot quite hear, but feel deep in our bones. As we leave the heart of the city behind, we pause for a moment at the edge of a great open space, what might have been a gathering place, or perhaps an observatory, where the people once gazed at the stars in awe, searching for patterns, for meaning in the night sky. The wind stirs the dust, and for a moment it feels as though the stars themselves are watching, waiting for us to uncover the final piece of the puzzle. But the city has no more answers to give. It simply exists, a silent witness to a time long past. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps this knowledge, this connection between earth and sky, was meant to fade into the sands, to be carried away by the wind, leaving only the faintest traces behind. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And perhaps, in time, we will find the key to these forgotten mysteries. But for now, we must leave this place, carrying with us only the silence of the desert and the starlight that continues to watch over us, even as we drift into sleep. The ruins remain, the stars above just as they were, their silent gaze upon a world that has long since moved on. But beneath the earth, beneath the dust and the wind, the secrets of the city still wait. Perhaps, one day, they will speak again. Until then, they rest in the quiet, moonlit desert, forever out of reach, yet never truly gone. It is said that long before the world remembered, a temple stood at the very edge of the earth, a place where light and shadow danced in eternal union. Time, like the wind, has carried it away, erasing its name from every map, its walls from every stone, until only whispers remain. Those who came too close to its forgotten gates tell stories in hushed tones, stories of a sacred place that once bridged the realms of the living and the divine. The air is thick with the scent of dust and the weight of ancient memories as we stand at the edge of the land, where the horizon stretches far and the earth seems to drop into infinity. The sun is setting, casting long shadows that stretch across the quiet landscape. In the stillness, we feel the pull and invitation from a time long past, beckoning us toward the hidden temple. The path is faint, barely visible beneath the layers of dust and age, but we follow it nonetheless, as if guided by forces unseen. The deeper we travel, the more the world around us seems to fade away. The earth grows silent, the wind hushed, as if the very landscape is holding its breath. There is something sacred in this silence, something older than the world we know, as if we are walking not on land, but on a forgotten dream. It is said that the temple was built to honor a deity of both light and shadow, a divine being who ruled the cycles of day and night. Its followers believed that this deity was both the creator and destroyer, the giver of life and the taker of it, a presence that was at once terrifying and beautiful. Whispers tell us that in the temple's heart, where sunlight and shadow merged, rituals were held in secret. These were not the rituals of simple worship, but of communion with something far beyond human understanding. The temple was not merely a building, but a gateway, a place where the boundary between worlds thinned, where the veil separating life from death, light from dark, could be lifted. Those who participated in these sacred ceremonies spoke of moments when time seemed to stand still, when the stars above bent closer, as though listening in silence to the words spoken below. As we walk deeper along the forgotten path, the weight of the temple's absence grows heavy in the air. The very land seems to pulse with an energy, an ancient presence that calls to us. We feel it now, in the soft earth beneath our feet, in the stillness of the air, in the way the light shifts just slightly as the sun dips lower into the sky. The temple's presence is not gone, it is merely hidden, veiled beneath layers of time, waiting to be uncovered by those who are willing to listen. And so we listen, though the words spoken here are not of this world. The journey takes us farther, through what was once a dense forest, now only the barest remnants of trees and twisted roots clinging to the earth. These ruins, though crumbled, speak to us in their silence. The stones that once formed the temple's walls still hold the traces of what they once contained, sacred symbols, worn smooth by centuries of forgotten hands. We trace these symbols with our eyes, each one a piece of the story that time has not been able to erase. Yet the meaning remains elusive, like the faintest echo, just beyond reach. It is said that the rituals performed within the temple were not for the faint of heart, for they demanded a union between those who worshipped and the deity they revered. The temple's architecture was designed not to awe, but to humble. The chambers were carved into the earth, deep and hidden, as though the very foundation of the temple was meant to draw the soul inward, into the depths of the self. There were no grand halls, no towering columns. Instead, there were quiet alcoves, small spaces where the light flickered and the shadows whispered. These were places of reflection, of meditation, where the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual blurred. As we press forward, the temple grows closer, or so it seems. But with each step, it remains just beyond the horizon, like a mirage, flickering in the fading light. The sun sinks lower, painting the sky in shades of amber and violet, and yet the temple does not fully reveal itself. The path seems to stretch endlessly, the world around us fading into the soft hum of twilight. And then, as we near the place where the temple should be, there is nothing, no stone, no structure, no sign that we have even come close. Only the faintest impression in the earth, as though something great and ancient once stood here, but is now lost to time. The silence becomes deafening. We stand at the edge of this space, feeling both the weight of our search and the impossibility of what we seek. Was it ever meant to be found? Was the temple, with its hidden knowledge and divine presence, simply a dream, a vision conjured by those who longed for something greater? Or did it truly exist, its secrets now carried away with the dawn, leaving only the echo of what once was? As the last rays of sunlight vanish behind the horizon, the world around us darkens, and we are left alone with the lingering presence of the temple. It is no longer a place on a map, no longer a physical structure we can touch or see. Instead, it has become a memory, a shadow cast by the starlight that now begins to take its place in the sky. The wind stirs the dust, and for a moment, it feels as though the temple's spirit is still with us, watching, waiting a reminder that some truths are not meant to be found, that some knowledge is too sacred, too powerful to be held by mortal hands. Perhaps the temple was never meant to be found. Perhaps it was meant to remain as it is, a mystery, a shadow, a symbol of something beyond our understanding. The presence we felt, the pull that guided us here, is still with us, but now it is fading, as the last traces of light are swallowed by the night. In the distance, the stars begin to twinkle, casting their silent gaze upon the world below, as they have for countless centuries. The journey ends here, in the silence of the desert, beneath the same stars that once guided those who walked the temple's forgotten path. We are left with the sense that some things are simply not meant to be known. And as the night deepens, we let go of the search, letting the mysteries of the temple slip away into the darkness, where they belong. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. Some truths are hidden, not because they are lost, but because they are too sacred to be found. And so, we rest in the quiet, the gentle hum of the desert night filling the space between us and the temple that vanished with the dawn. Beneath the earth, in a place long forgotten by time, lies a chamber carved from stone, steeped in mystery. Its existence is known only through whispers, faint and fading, carried by those who have walked too close to the forgotten paths of an ancient city. This place, so far removed from our world, once stood as a bridge between realms, where the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual were not as rigid as they are today. It is said that those who ventured here, guided by an unseen force, could hear the echoes of voices long silenced, not of the living, but of those who walked in the shadows of the divine. The moon, ancient and eternal, is our only companion in this journey. It casts its pale light through cracks in the earth above, illuminating the stones, now weathered and worn, but still holding their secrets. Here, beneath the weight of centuries, the chamber lies in stillness, waiting like a forgotten dream. The air is heavy with the silence of what once was. In this sacred place, the veil between the worlds was said to grow thin here. The living might hear the whispers of the stars, the rustle of forgotten scrolls, the faintest hum of a ritual long past. As we stand at the entrance, the moonlight bathes the room, revealing walls marked with ancient symbols. These symbols are not just decorative, but powerful ones. They carried meaning, wisdom, and perhaps even the very essence of life itself. Now, they are but echoes of the past, their significance faded with the passing of time. Yet, there is a strange feeling that fills the space, a sense that these marks on the walls are alive, waiting to be understood. They call to us, not in words, but in a language that the heart can sense, a language of the soul. The chamber's stillness is profound, as though the stones themselves have held their breath for eons, waiting for someone to listen. And as we listen, we begin to feel the weight of the rituals that once took place here. It is said that in this chamber, the boundaries between life and death, spirit and flesh, were not as rigid as they are in the world we know today. Those who entered this sacred space were said to be able to speak with those beyond the veil, to commune with the divine in ways that are now lost to us. The rituals that took place here were not mere offerings or prayers, but deep, sacred exchanges, a kind of quiet, reverent power that flowed through the very air, through the stone, through the hearts of those who dared to enter. The moon, ever watchful, seems to draw closer as we step further into the chamber. Its pale light shines on the walls, illuminating the faintest traces of what was once vibrant, now faded, crumbling like the dust of forgotten time. We move through the space slowly, reverently, as if we are intruders in a sacred place that was never meant to be found again. The air is thick, as though it carries the weight of centuries, and with each step we are drawn deeper into the silence, deeper into the mystery. In the stillness, we reflect on what once was. What was this place? What rituals did they perform in the moonlit darkness? What knowledge did the chamber hold? Some believe that those who sought answers here were looking for more than just wisdom. They were searching for a way to touch the divine, to reach beyond the limitations of the physical world and commune with something greater. The chamber was not merely a place of worship, it was a doorway, a passage between worlds. And yet, as we stand in this space now, it seems as though the very act of searching has become a distant memory, a forgotten longing that the stones themselves seem to echo. The silence grows deeper, more palpable, and the chamber seems to hold its breath, as if guarding its secrets. In the quiet, we begin to sense the faintest stirrings of something ancient, something that lingers just beneath the surface. It is as if the chamber itself is alive, breathing in rhythm with the moon, with the stars, with the very pulse of the earth. But what is it that the chamber holds? What is it that it is waiting for us to discover? Perhaps it is knowledge lost to time, a wisdom that once flowed freely but has since been buried, hidden in the dust of ages. Perhaps it is a power that cannot be understood by mere mortal minds, a power that transcends understanding and cannot be unlocked. The deeper we venture into the space, the more we sense that this chamber, like the city above it, is a relic, a symbol of something lost, something that has slipped away from the grasp of time. The moonlight that floods the room seems to hold a kind of mourning, a quiet sadness for all that has faded. Yet, in the midst of that sadness, there is also a quiet reverence, a knowing that this place, this chamber, was once a cradle of life and death, of wisdom and power, a place where the divine whispered in the hearts of the living. As we move further through the chamber, we come to a place where the stone feels cooler, smoother, almost as if it were carved to touch only the most sensitive of hands. This place, this stone seems to hum with something, something that we cannot name, but we feel it. It is as if the stone itself holds the key to the secrets of the chamber, the secrets of the divine rituals that once took place here. But what were those rituals? What knowledge did they seek? Was it a knowledge of the stars, of the deep earth, of the mysteries of life and death? Perhaps it was all of these things, or perhaps it was something beyond our understanding, a power too great for our minds to grasp. As the night deepens and the moonlight wanes, the chamber seems to draw back into the earth, retreating from us, as if the stone itself is closing its eyes, slipping back into the silence from which it came. The air grows still, heavier now with the weight of unspoken words, and we feel a shift, a sense that the chamber, its knowledge, its power, will remain hidden, waiting for someone who may one day be ready to hear its secrets. But that time, it seems, is not yet. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the chamber was meant to remain a secret, hidden beneath the earth, waiting in the quiet of time. The rituals, the knowledge, the power, they all belong to a time that has long since passed, slipping away with the moonlight that now fades into the horizon. The last traces of light flicker and fade. leaving us in the cool embrace of the night. The chamber is silent once more, its mysteries still locked away, its secrets still whispered only to the stars. And as we leave this sacred place, we carry with us only the echo of its presence, the faintest glimpse of something ancient, something eternal, that may never be fully understood. Perhaps the chamber still holds its secrets, waiting for the day when the right soul will enter and unlock what has been buried beneath the silence. Until that day comes, we are left with only the moonlight and the quiet wonder of what lies beneath the earth, waiting in the dark. In the farthest reaches of the earth, beyond where maps can trace and eyes dare to search, there lies a kingdom hidden in the folds of mist and mountains, draped in the quietest of mysteries. It is said that this kingdom was never meant to be found, a place where the air is thick with the whispers of forgotten rituals, where the earth is cloaked in an eternal haze of twilight. The very soil beneath its feet bears the weight of secrets too heavy for the sun to reveal. The kingdom sleeps, waiting for those brave enough to search, but only those who understand its silence will ever know its name. We begin our journey at the edge of the world, where the mist rises like a veil over the mountains, curling around the ancient stones that have withstood the ravages of time. The landscape is bathed in a muted light, as if the sun itself has been swallowed by the fog. There are no signs here, no markings to tell us that this is a place of importance, only the silence, the weight of centuries pressing down on us, inviting us to step deeper into the mystery. The mountains rise like guardians, towering over the land, watching over what was once a thriving kingdom, now lost to the winds of time. It is said that the rulers of this kingdom were not like other kings and queens. They were draped not in gold but in mystery. They spoke little, but their eyes deep and knowing held the wisdom of the stars. Some believe their power did not come from the earth, but from the heavens, from a celestial knowledge that connected them to the stars themselves. The kingdom, so far removed from the world of men, seemed to exist outside of time, its people living in a realm where the boundaries between the physical and the spiritual were blurred. We trace the footsteps of those who once lived here, following the path through the mist, walking through what remains of their world. As we move through the ruins, each step feels like a dance with the unknown, a quiet meditation on what once was. The stone walls, weathered by centuries, tell stories without words, symbols etched deep into their surfaces, worn smooth by the passage of countless years. Each stone seems to hum with the echoes of lives once lived, rituals once performed, and wisdom once shared. The kingdom's story unfolds like a dream. There are no grand palaces here, no towering monuments to power. Instead, the ruins speak of a more humble existence, a life lived in harmony with the land and the stars. The temples, though crumbled, still stand as testaments to a people who understood something profound, something beyond the reach of ordinary men. The sky above them was not just a backdrop for their lives, but a part of them, an extension of their very being. The stars were not distant, cold lights, but living beings, guiding the kingdom's rulers in their every decision. Their wisdom was said to come from the heavens themselves, their rituals a dance of reverence and power. As we move deeper into the heart of the ruins, the air grows heavier, thicker with the weight of the past. The fog rolls in closer, surrounding us like a blanket, as if the very atmosphere is holding its breath. There are no sounds here, no rustling of leaves or chirping of birds. Only the quiet hum of ancient knowledge, carried on the wind, lingering in the stillness. The kingdom's story is not one of conquest or war, but of a quiet existence, lived in the shadows. Perhaps that is why it was never meant to be found. Perhaps it was a kingdom that existed only for those who could see beyond the veil of the ordinary world. Some say that the people of this kingdom were far beyond their time, that their knowledge of the stars, of the earth, and of the unseen world was more advanced than anything we could comprehend. They had rituals that could change the very fabric of reality, ceremonies that connected them to the divine, to the forces of nature, to the pulse of the universe itself. But the knowledge they held was not meant for the masses. It was sacred, hidden away from those who would misuse it. It was said that only the worthy could approach the heart of the kingdom, the very center of their power. And yet, in the end, even they faded away, leaving only the ruins behind. The line between myth and truth begins to blur as we walk through the ruins, as we breathe in the silence. Were the people of this kingdom truly as advanced as the stories tell? Or were they simply whispers lost in the fog of history, a dream within a dream? The truth slips away with each step, just out of reach. Perhaps the kingdom never truly existed at all, but was instead a legend, a tale spun by the wind, carried away by the mist. The further we go, the more the reality of the kingdom seems to fade, until we are left with nothing but the quiet hum of ancient stones and the distant sound of something, perhaps the stars themselves, calling to us from afar. As the journey continues, the ruins begin to feel more like a memory than a place. The stone walls that once held the kingdom's wisdom are now mere echoes, their meaning lost in the passage of time. The symbols carved into them no longer speak to us in the same way. They are shadows now, a reflection of something that was never fully realized, a glimpse into a world that we can never truly touch. The kingdom, it seems, is not a place, but a feeling, a presence that lingers in the mist, in the silence, in the spaces between the stars. It is a place that exists only for those who seek it, for those who can see beyond the fog and into the heart of the unknown. And so, as we stand at the edge of the kingdom, gazing out into the mist, we are left with the sense that we will never know the full story. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the kingdom was always meant to remain a shadow, a secret kept by the stars themselves. In the end, the truth is not something we can hold in our hands, but something that slips away, just as the mist slips back into the mountains. The shadows of the palace fade into the night, and we are left with only the quiet echo of a kingdom that lived in the shadows, a kingdom that may have never been real at all. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen, and perhaps, in the quiet spaces of the night, beneath the weight of the stars, we will hear the whispers of this forgotten kingdom, calling to us from the fog, a kingdom that may exist only in dreams. Beneath the endless stretch of dust, buried deep within the earth, there stands a gate. It is not crafted from iron or wood, as most gates are, but from stone forgotten, ancient stone, worn smooth by the hands of time. Its surface is etched with symbols, carvings whose meanings have long since faded into the silence of forgotten ages. It is said that this gate was built not to keep things in, but to keep things out, sacred things, divine things, things meant only for those who knew how to pass through. Whispers tell us of this gate, of the power it once held, of the knowledge it protected. But that knowledge is no more. It is hidden, locked away, as if the gate itself were a keeper of secrets too great for mortal minds to comprehend. Some believe that the gate was not merely a doorway, but a boundary between realms, between worlds known and unknown, between life and death, between gods and men. And perhaps, as with all boundaries, it was meant to remain untouched, unseen by those not chosen to see it. Our journey begins as we step into the dust, guided by the quiet allure of the gate's mystery. The air is heavy with the weight of the past, the silence deep and unbroken, as though the earth itself is holding its breath. The path is unclear, obscured by centuries of forgotten time. But we move forward nonetheless, drawn by the pull of something beyond our understanding. Each step brings us closer to the place where the veil between the known and the unknown grows thin, where the past and present meet in a soft, sacred embrace. As we venture deeper into the earth, the landscape begins to change. The air grows cooler, more still. The stones beneath our feet are ancient, crumbled and worn, but they seem to whisper in the quiet echoes of a time long past. The wind that carries these whispers is soft, almost reverent, as though it too is honoring the sacred ground we now walk upon. It is here, in the depths of the earth, that the gate waits. It has always waited. Perhaps it has been waiting for us, for those who seek it, for those who are brave enough to search for answers that have long been forgotten. There are no grand monuments here, no towering structures to announce the gate's presence. It is hidden, like a secret buried deep within the earth's bones. Yet, it is undeniable. As we approach, we feel the change in the air, the subtle shift in the atmosphere that tells us something ancient and powerful lies ahead. The gate itself is a mystery. Its stone, dark and worn by time, seems to pulse with an energy that is both calming and overwhelming. The symbols that adorn it are beautiful, intricate, but impossible to understand. They twist and spiral, flowing like water, like the stars themselves, yet their meaning has slipped away, leaving only the faintest impression behind. What did this gate guard, we wonder? What sacred knowledge passed through it, only to be erased from memory? Some believe it was a portal, a passage between realms, where the gods themselves walked and spoke to those worthy enough to enter. Perhaps it was once a door to a temple, a place where the divine and mortal worlds met in sacred communion. Or perhaps it was something far greater, a gateway to mysteries so vast and so profound that even the stars could not comprehend them. Whatever it was, it has long since faded into the dust, its purpose lost to the ages. As we stand before the gate, we are filled with a quiet awe. The silence is profound, as though the very earth is holding its breath, waiting for us to discover something that may never be revealed. The symbols, though incomprehensible, seem to hold a promise. Perhaps they are the key, the language of the gods themselves, a secret waiting to be unlocked. But as we reach out to touch the stone, something shifts in the air. The atmosphere grows heavier, the silence thicker. The gate, though ancient and forgotten, feels as though it is watching us, waiting for us to understand, or perhaps waiting for us to leave. We turn our gaze to the surroundings, to the land that has kept this secret hidden for so long. The earth here is soft, as though the gate has drawn all the life from the soil, leaving only the faintest traces of what once was. The trees that stand nearby are twisted, their branches gnarled, reaching out like hands that long to touch something that no longer exists. The path that brought us here seems to vanish into the mist, as though it never truly existed in the first place. And yet, here we are, standing before this ancient, forgotten gate, with more questions than answers. What were the people who built this gate like? What did they believe? Some say they were priests, or perhaps guardians of knowledge, chosen to protect something far beyond human understanding. Others believe they were explorers, seeking knowledge not of this world, but of the stars, the heavens themselves. Whatever their purpose, they have long since disappeared, leaving only this gate, a silent reminder that some things were never meant to be known, never meant to be touched. The deeper we search, the more we realize that the gate itself is not just a structure, it is a symbol of something far greater, something sacred. It is a reminder that not all knowledge is meant to be uncovered, not all doors are meant to be opened. Some things, it seems, are better left hidden, tucked away beneath layers of time and dust, where the veil between the known and the unknown is too thin to pass through. And so, as we stand before this forgotten gate, we are left with a quiet sense of wonder, a wonder that comes not from the answers we seek, but from the questions that remain. What did this gate guard? What secrets did it once hold, and why was it hidden for so long? Perhaps, like so many things in this world, it was never meant to be found. Perhaps it was a mystery meant to remain hidden in the shadows, a shadow that stretches far beyond our understanding. As the air grows still, as the last whispers of the past fade into the night, we turn away from the gate. It stands silent behind us, its mysteries still locked within the stone, waiting for those who may never come. The path we followed has faded, swallowed by the earth, and we are left alone with the quiet of the world around us. The gate, like so many things in life, remains a question unanswered, a mystery that will never be fully understood. But perhaps that is the way it was always meant to be. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Some doors, some gates, are meant to remain closed, left untouched by the hands of time. And as we drift away from the gate, we carry with us only the faintest sense of something greater, something divine, that lies beyond our reach, a mystery that we may never understand, but will never forget. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen, and perhaps, in the quiet of the night, we will hear the whispers of the gate, telling us that some secrets are best left buried beneath the silence, where they belong. Beneath the dust of forgotten time, within the ancient libraries of the world, there lie scrolls scattered, decayed, and fragile, each a vessel of wisdom lost to all but the stars themselves. It is said that these scrolls did not simply chart the course of the heavens, but revealed the very essence of them not as distant lights in the sky, but as keys to unlocking realms hidden far beyond the grasp of mortal understanding. Their symbols, faint and crumbling, are not mere decorations, but whispers of a knowledge that once shaped civilizations, shaping their rise and fall with the pull of the stars. As we begin our journey into these forgotten realms, we enter a space thick with silence, where the air itself seems to hold its breath. The room around us is dim, lit only by the soft glow of flickering candlelight, casting shadows on the walls lined with crumbling shelves. It is said that no one truly knows how these scrolls came to be here, hidden among the ruins of temples and libraries that once thrived with knowledge. Perhaps they were left behind by a civilization far wiser than our own, or perhaps they are remnants of a time so ancient that it slips through our fingers like water. Whispers tell us that these scrolls were written by ancient astronomers, not just men who gazed at the stars, but those who understood them deeply. They saw the stars not as mere points of light in the sky, but as pathways, guides to realms far beyond the reach of earthly kingdoms. The ink on these scrolls is fading, but the symbols they contain have not been entirely erased. Each scroll tells of a celestial map, of the alignment of stars that held the power to shape empires, guiding their rulers with an understanding of time and space that we can scarcely imagine. As we slowly uncover the scrolls, each one revealing a little more than the last, the atmosphere grows heavier. The symbols speak to us, not in words, but in feelings, an ancient resonance, a vibration that stirs something deep within us. The ink is not black, but a faint, fading gold that catches the candlelight, illuminating parts of the text that seem to shimmer, as if they are not meant to be seen by ordinary eyes. The script, though delicate and worn, carries with it the weight of untold knowledge, knowledge of the stars, of the heavens, of the great mysteries that lie just beyond our reach. As we trace the faded lines of the first scroll, a deep sense of awe fills the space. The ancient astronomers who crafted these scrolls had an understanding of the cosmos that seems almost otherworldly. They saw the stars not as fixed points, but as dynamic forces, as beings, perhaps with their own rhythms and secrets. Some believe they understood the heavens in a way that allowed them to predict not just the movement of celestial bodies, but the cycles of life itself, the ebb and flow of kingdoms, the rise and fall of empires. The scrolls speak of the stars as sacred markers, not simply for navigation, but for the soul's journey, guiding those who understood their language to places hidden beyond the veil of the physical world. With each scroll we unfold, we dive deeper into these mysteries, drawn further into a knowledge that seems to slip further away as we seek it. The deeper we look, the more elusive the meaning becomes, as if the very act of searching causes the knowledge to fade, like starlight fading with the first light of dawn. The symbols, once so clear, begin to blur and twist, becoming something less tangible, more abstract, as if the knowledge contained within these ancient texts was never meant to be fully understood, but only glimpsed, like a fleeting vision seen from the corner of the eye. The air grows heavier, and with each turning of the scrolls, we feel the weight of the wisdom that once lay within them. The secrets they hold are not for the living, perhaps, but for those who come after, for those who are ready to listen to the whispers of the universe. Some say that the knowledge contained within these scrolls was so powerful that it had the ability to shape the course of history. And yet, as we continue to unfurl the parchment, we are left with the strange sense that this knowledge, though potent, is forever out of reach. It was never meant to be fully known, only glimpsed in passing, like a star glimpsed through the clouds, there for a moment before vanishing again into the vast, unknown sky. The deeper we delve into these sacred texts, the more we come to understand that the knowledge they hold is not linear, not structured in a way we might understand. It is cyclical, spiraling outwards like the movements of the stars themselves, folding back in on itself, never quite fully resolved. As we move from one scroll to the next, the symbols become more abstract, more poetic, as if the wisdom contained within is something that cannot be grasped in the traditional sense. Perhaps the truth lies not in understanding the symbols themselves, but in the spaces between them, in the silence that echoes through the pages, in the quiet breath that we take between each scroll. Some believe that these scrolls were not just a guide to the heavens, but a means of communication with the divine. That they held the keys to a realm where the physical world and the spiritual world met, where the stars themselves whispered their secrets to those who could hear. The scribes who wrote these scrolls were said to have been able to listen to the stars, to understand their language, to commune with the forces of nature in a way that is beyond our comprehension. The ink they used, though faded now, is said to have been mixed with stardust, making the words themselves a part of the celestial map they described. As the night deepens, the scrolls continue to whisper, the symbols shifting in the candlelight. With each scroll we uncover, we are drawn deeper into the mystery, and yet we feel as though the knowledge slips further away. Like starlight fading into the morning sky, it seems that the more we seek the answers, the further they recede, just out of reach. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully understood. Perhaps these scrolls were always meant to be a puzzle, a riddle that could never quite be solved. The library, now still, holds its breath as we sit in the quiet. The scrolls rest before us, their wisdom contained within symbols that may never fully reveal themselves. And so, in this silence, we reflect. Perhaps these scrolls, like the stars themselves, are not for the understanding of the present, but for the future, for those who will one day be able to listen, to truly hear the echoes of the cosmos and understand the language of the universe. As we leave the room, the scrolls lie undisturbed, still waiting. The mysteries they contain are not gone, but suspended, as if in time, like the stars in the sky, always just out of reach. Perhaps they were never meant to be found, only to be glimpsed by those who are ready to listen, to hear the quiet whispers of the universe as it stretches out, eternal and infinite, across the fabric of time. And so, we leave with a quiet sense of wonder, knowing that the scrolls still hold their secrets, waiting for the next soul who will hear them. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And perhaps, like the stars themselves, the secrets of the scrolls will one day find their way to us when the time is right, when the veil between the known and the unknown grows thin, and we are ready to hear the wisdom that has waited for us in the silence. Beneath the ocean's surface, where the light of day is swallowed by endless depths, there lies a city that time and the waves have consumed, wrapping it in their silent embrace. It is a place of myth, whispered about in ancient tales, its name carried on the currents of the sea, lost to history, and found only in the dreams of those who dare to seek. It is said that this city, though shrouded in mystery, holds the treasures of a civilization far older than any history we know, a people whose knowledge and wisdom stretched beyond the boundaries of what we can fathom. We begin our journey here, at the edge of the ocean, where the horizon stretches infinitely before us. The air is thick with the scent of salt, the wind carrying the faintest whisper of something forgotten. Below the surface, the sea is still, as though holding its breath. It is in this stillness that we descend, drawn not by the need for treasure, but by the yearning to uncover the echoes of a lost world. As we dive deeper into the vast, endless expanse of the ocean, the world above us fades, swallowed by the vastness of the water. The sea, dark and heavy, seems to hum with an ancient knowledge, the rhythm of its currents, holding the secrets of those who lived and died beneath its surface. The deeper we go, the closer we come to the city, its form barely visible through the shifting waves, its shape obscured by the darkness of the deep. It is not a place that can be found easily. It is not meant to be found. The first glimpse of the city emerges slowly, like a dream materializing in the quiet spaces of the night. Its streets are lined with stones, worn smooth by the touch of the sea, their surfaces crumbled and eroded with age. The city, though submerged, is not entirely lost. The faint outlines of its temples rise from the ocean floor like forgotten monuments to a time long past. Each step through the ruins is a slow dance with the unknown, as though the city itself is hesitant to reveal its secrets, holding them just beyond reach, as if the sea is the keeper of the answers we seek. Whispers tell us that this city was once a place of power, a place where knowledge was revered above all else. Its people, who lived in harmony with the sea, were said to have unlocked the mysteries of the waters and the heavens above. They understood the rhythms of the tides and the movements of the stars, their lives woven into the fabric of the ocean itself. The city was a sacred space, a place where the divine and the earthly met, where rituals were performed to honor the forces of nature that sustained them. But now, as we float in the cool embrace of the sea, there is no sound but the quiet hum of the underwater world. The silence is overwhelming, as if the city itself is holding its breath, waiting for something or someone to unlock its secrets once more. The waves, though gentle, seem to whisper of forgotten treasures, of knowledge that once shaped empires, now lost beneath the ocean's veil. We pass through what might have been a temple, its pillars now little more than shadows of stone, their surfaces covered in algae and marine life. The stone, though weathered by the relentless touch of the sea, still carries an energy, a faint pulse, as though the city is not truly dead but merely waiting, suspended in time, beneath the surface. It is as if the ocean itself has become a tomb, guarding the remnants of a civilization that once flourished, keeping its treasures hidden from the world above. Each breath we take seems to draw us deeper into the city, further into the silence. We find ourselves standing before a monument, a statue of a figure long forgotten. Its features are worn away, its form obscured by the weight of time, but still it stands. There is something sacred in its presence, a reminder that even in the deepest, most hidden places, the divine was worshipped. The temple that once stood here, though crumbled and broken, still holds the faintest trace of its former glory, as though the ocean itself refuses to let go of what was. The sea, with all its weight and mystery, seems to embrace the ruins, to cradle them in its depths. But as we explore, it becomes clear that the city is more than just a collection of stones and statues. It is a memory, a faint echo of something that once was. The deeper we go, the more we feel the pull of something ancient, something greater than the city itself. Perhaps the city was never meant to be found, never meant to be remembered. Perhaps its knowledge, its wisdom, was lost for a reason, hidden beneath the waves to keep it safe from the world above. The silence grows deeper as we continue our journey, each passing moment drawing us further into the city's embrace. The ocean, with all its mysteries, seems to whisper to us, not with words, but with the movement of the water, with the pull of the tides. The city, though abandoned, still carries the weight of its people's knowledge, a knowledge that cannot be fully grasped. It is as though the very essence of the city has been absorbed by the ocean, its secrets woven into the currents, waiting for those who can listen. As we drift deeper into the ruins, the city becomes harder to see, as though it is slipping away from us, returning to the ocean's depths. The sea holds its breath, as if it is watching us, waiting for us to understand. The city, though submerged, is not gone. It is merely hidden, like a dream fading at dawn, just out of reach. The treasures that once lay within its walls, the knowledge, the wisdom, the power, are now buried beneath layers of time and water, waiting for the day when the sea will release them once more. And so, as we float in the stillness, the city begins to fade, slipping away like the last remnants of a memory. The sea, vast and endless, closes over the ruins, leaving only the faintest traces of what once was. The treasures of the city remain hidden, locked beneath the ocean's veil, waiting for those who may one day return to uncover them. But for now, all that remains is the silence of the deep, the hum of the water, and the faintest whisper of the city. calling to us from beneath the waves. Perhaps the city was never meant to be found. Perhaps its knowledge was never meant to be fully understood. And yet, as we drift away, we carry with us the quiet wonder of a civilization lost to time, a city that will never truly fade, as long as the ocean remembers. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And in the deep, beneath the silence of the waves, the city waits its secrets, held safe in the embrace of the ocean, forever just beyond reach, like a dream fading with the tide. It is said that once, in a time so distant it has slipped beyond the reach of memory, there existed a kingdom steeped in mystery. A kingdom that, when the moonlight graced its lands, would vanish from mortal eyes, as though it were never meant to be seen again. Some believe that the kingdom was bound to the moon itself, that its rulers practiced rites of great power beneath the pale light of the stars, guided by celestial forces far beyond our understanding. And yet, despite the whispers that drift through the ages, the kingdom remains lost, a fading dream tucked into the folds of time. As the night unfolds, we are drawn to this forgotten place, led by the soft murmurs of those who remember. The journey is not one of haste, but of quiet reverence, as we trace the path of this kingdom through the mist of history, walking slowly, as if we, too, were part of its ancient story. With each step, the land seems to change, growing heavier, more sacred, until we find ourselves at the edge of the forgotten kingdom, a place where the moonlight touches the earth, where the stones speak in hushed tones, where the air itself hums with ancient power. Beneath the moon's pale gaze, we walk through the ruins of a once great civilization. The stones beneath our feet are worn smooth by time, their surfaces marked with symbols whose meanings have long been forgotten, but whose presence still holds an undeniable weight. Each one seems to echo with the distant voices of those who walked these paths before us, the kings and queens of this land, their faces lost to the shadows, but their spirits lingering in the silence. It is said that they understood the stars as no other people ever did, that their eyes were turned toward the heavens, seeking wisdom in the movement of the celestial bodies, using the moon as their guide, and the stars as their compass. As we trace these ancient symbols, we are drawn deeper into the mystery of this forgotten kingdom. The stones beneath our hands feel cool, ancient, as though they hold the weight of time itself. Some symbols are etched deeply into the rock, their forms still sharp and clear, while others have softened, their meanings slipping away like sand through the fingers of time. Yet, in their imperfection, they still speak to us, not in words, but in feelings, in the subtle pull of something greater, something far beyond our understanding. It is as though these symbols were never meant to be fully understood, but only to be felt, like a melody heard in the distance, just beyond reach. The further we move into the ruins, the quieter the world becomes. The wind that once whispered through the trees now carries only the faintest hum, as if the kingdom itself is waiting in the stillness, waiting for someone to remember it. The air is thick with the weight of forgotten rituals, and we feel the presence of the kingdom's rulers, their power still palpable, though their faces have been lost to time. Were they truly as wise as the legends say? Did they unlock the secrets of the stars, harnessing their power to guide them through the cycles of life and death? The stones do not answer, but they tell their own story, a story buried beneath layers of dust, beneath the veil of time, waiting to be uncovered by those who are patient enough to listen. As we stand at the heart of this lost kingdom, the moonlight grows softer, as though the sky itself is bowing in reverence to what was once here. The ruins stretch out before us, their outlines fading in the gentle glow of the moon, the shadows of the past shifting like ghosts in the stillness. The kingdom, though long vanished, seems to linger in the air, as though it has never truly gone, but waits, suspended in time, waiting for someone to come and unlock its secrets once more. The journey grows stiller, as if the very earth is holding its breath, and we feel the quiet presence of the rulers who once walked here, kings and queens whose faces we cannot see, but whose spirits we can feel in the space around us. It is as though they are watching, waiting for us to remember their kingdom, to breathe life back into the ruins, to restore the connection between the earth and the stars. Yet, no matter how deeply we search, no matter how carefully we listen, the kingdom remains elusive, like a dream that slips away as soon as we try to grasp it. The air grows heavier with each passing moment, as if the kingdom itself is growing tired of waiting, retreating further into the shadows where it has always belonged. The moonlight that once illuminated the ruins begins to fade, the stars that once guided the rulers of this land slowly slipping away into the distant sky. The silence deepens, and we feel the pull of something ancient and powerful, a presence that is both comforting and overwhelming. The kingdom is no longer a place of stone and ruin, but a memory, a feeling, a shadow cast across time. Perhaps it was never meant to be found, this kingdom. Perhaps it was meant to live only in the spaces between the stars, in the silent spaces where memory fades and time stands still. The symbols, the stones, the rulers who once walked here, they are all part of a larger story, a story that cannot be fully understood, but only felt. It is as though the kingdom was always meant to be a dream, a whisper, a fleeting moment that fades away with the passing of time. As the moonlight slips away and the stars fade into the quiet of the night, we stand at the edge of this lost kingdom, knowing that we have seen it, if only for a moment. The ruins remain, but the kingdom is gone, slipping back into the shadows where it has always lived. And as we turn to leave, we carry with us only the echo of its presence, a memory that will fade into the night, leaving us with more questions than answers. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen, and perhaps, in the quiet stillness of the night, beneath the moon's gentle gaze, the kingdom will return not as a place to be found, but as a memory to be remembered, a story to be whispered in the wind. But for now, it rests in silence, waiting for the next soul to walk its forgotten paths, to trace its ancient symbols, and to feel the pull of the stars once more. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Some things, it seems, are destined to remain hidden, veiled beneath the silence of time, waiting for those who are ready to hear their whispers. And so we drift away, leaving the kingdom in the moonlight, where it belongs as a dream, as a memory, as a place forever lost beneath the stars. It is said that in an age long past, when the earth was young and the stars still whispered their secrets to those who could hear, there stood a machine at the heart of a forgotten civilization. Its form was unlike anything we know today, so advanced that it defied all explanation. In the stillness of time, as centuries have passed, it has become a shadow, an enigma buried beneath the earth, hidden from mortal eyes. The ruins of the machine lie in silence, but the air still hums with the faint echo of its purpose, a vibration that stirs something deep within us, urging us to listen. As we journey into the forgotten corners of the earth, we approach the place where this machine once stood. The landscape around us is barren, windswept and untouched, as though the world itself has forgotten this ancient site. The light of the sun fades, leaving behind only the soft glow of twilight. In the distance, through the veil of dust and shadow, we see the remnants of the machine towering, crumbled, but still imposing. It is not a simple contraption of gears and metal, but a testament to a civilization that understood something vast, something beyond time. The earth beneath our feet feels different here, as though it holds the memory of something profound, something that cannot be fully grasped by the mind. The silence is heavy, but not empty. It is thick with the presence of a forgotten power, a force that once guided the very heartbeat of the world. As we draw closer to the ruins, we feel a pull, a quiet beckoning, as though the machine itself is waiting for us to uncover its secrets, to understand its purpose, or perhaps to simply witness its shadow. Whispers tell us that this machine was no ordinary invention. Some say it was a tool of the gods, a device crafted to unlock the deepest mysteries of the universe. Others believe it was something far beyond human understanding, a creation so advanced that it could bend the fabric of reality itself. But what was its true purpose? Was it a key to the stars, a bridge to another world, or was it simply a grand experiment, too complex for its age? As we move deeper into the ruins, the answers elude us, slipping further into the shadows with each passing moment. The gears of the machine lie still, their once mighty movements now silenced by time. The stone that once housed them is weathered, cracked, crumbling into dust, yet still, the machine's presence remains, like a ghost of something that once was. There is a beauty in its decay, an elegance in its quiet, as if the machine was never meant to be understood, but only to be admired from a distance, like a celestial object too far away to ever be touched. We trace the remnants of the machine, our fingers brushing against the worn stone, feeling the energy that lingers in the air. Each layer we uncover reveals more questions, more mysteries, but no answers. The intricacy of its design is awe-inspiring patterns etched into the stone, spirals that twist upward like the path of a star, mechanisms so delicate and complex that they seem to defy the capabilities of any civilization we know. It is said that this machine was built to channel the power of the cosmos itself, to tap into forces that only the gods could comprehend. And yet, as we stand before it, its purpose remains shrouded, its meaning elusive, forever suspended in the silence of the earth. The deeper we go into the ruins, the more we feel the weight of the machine's history pressing down upon us. Each step seems to echo with the footsteps of those who built it, those who worshipped it, those who once believed that it could unlock the very secrets of existence. But now, all that remains are the broken fragments, the rusted gears, the cracked stone evidence of a time long past. Was this a tool of divine creation, a relic of a forgotten age, or a monument to the hubris of a civilization that sought to reach beyond its grasp? We cannot know, but the pull of its mystery is undeniable. The air grows stiller as we move through the ruins, as if the very earth is holding its breath. The machine, though silent, seems to speak to us in a language beyond words, a language felt in the heart rather than heard by the ears. We are drawn deeper into its presence, as if the very fabric of time and space has shifted around us, pulling us into its orbit. And yet, no matter how deeply we look, no matter how many layers we peel away, the secret of the machine remains just out of reach, slipping away like the fading light of dusk. It is said that some things are never meant to be understood, that some mysteries are too vast for mortal minds to grasp. Perhaps the machine was never meant to be a tool for the living, but a symbol, a monument to the unknown, a reminder that some forces are too powerful to be controlled, too profound to be measured. The civilization that created it may have been lost to time, but the machine itself endures, a silent witness to the passage of ages, a shadow that remains long after its creators have vanished. As the light dims and the shadows grow deeper, the machine seems to retreat further into the earth, as if it is fading back into the silence from which it emerged. We stand before it, filled with awe, but also with a sense of emptiness, as if we have glimpsed something eternal, something ancient, only to have it slip away once more. The ruins, the stone, the remnants of the machine, they are all that is left of a world that once was. And as we turn to leave, we know that the answers we sought will never be found. The machine's purpose, its power, its true meaning, all of these remain locked away, buried beneath the weight of time. Perhaps it was never meant to be found. Perhaps the machine was always destined to be a shadow in history, a riddle too complex to be solved, a question that will never have an answer. And yet, even in its silence, even in its decay, the machine speaks to us, reminding us that there are mysteries too vast, too sacred, to be fully understood. We leave it behind, but the shadow of the eternal machine lingers, echoing in our hearts, reminding us that some secrets are meant to remain forever hidden, waiting in the dark corners of history. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen, and perhaps, in the quiet stillness of time, the machine's secret will remain, forever a shadow, waiting for the moment when we are ready to hear its call. Until then, it rests in the silence, beneath the weight of forgotten years, a mystery too great to be fully revealed. In the forgotten corners of the earth, where time has woven its thick veil over the past, there once stood a city unlike any other. It is said that here, music was not just sound, but a language, a sacred language spoken between the gods and men. The streets of this city were lined with melodies, the air thick with harmonies that reverberated through the stone, echoing with power that transcended the mortal world. Music, they say, held the very fabric of the city together, and its instruments, crafted from the rarest of materials, could alter the course of history. As the moonlight dances softly across the ruins, we begin our journey into this long-forgotten city, a place where the very air seems to hum with the memories of lost songs. The wind carries with it the faintest trace of a melody, a tune so ancient that it seems to be woven into the fabric of the earth itself. The city lies before us, its streets swallowed by time, its temples now crumbled into dust. Yet, as we step into its heart, the music lingers, faint but ever present, like a distant lullaby sung by the stars themselves. The ruins stand in quiet reverence, their walls etched with symbols, worn by centuries of silence, but still speaking in the language of the gods. The stones beneath our feet are cool and smooth, their surfaces bearing the weight of forgotten rhythms. The further we move through the city, the more we feel the presence of something profound, a power that once flowed through the very air, vibrating with the echoes of a civilization long since faded. It is as if the city itself is waiting for us to remember, to listen closely enough to hear the song that once filled its streets. Whispers tell us that the instruments of this city were unlike any we have ever known. Crafted from rare materials, metals that shimmer like starlight, stones that hum with the pulse of the earth, these instruments were more than mere objects. They were tools of creation, capable of shaping the world itself. Some believe that the very act of playing these instruments could summon the gods, that the songs played in the sacred halls of this city could bend the fabric of time and space. The music was not just an art, but a means of communication with the divine, a sacred bond between the heavens and the earth. As we walk deeper into the heart of the city, the silence grows heavier, but the echoes of the music continue to guide us. It is said that the rulers of this city understood the language of sound as no others did. They were not simply kings and queens, but keepers of the song, guardians of a knowledge so profound that it could alter the very course of history. Their reign was marked not by war or conquest, but by the music they played, the harmony they cultivated between the realms of the divine and the earthly. Every note, every chord, was a prayer, a plea to the gods, a reflection of the soul's deepest desires. But time, like the wind, has swept through the city, eroding the sounds of the past, leaving only fragments, whispers, and faint echoes. The instruments lie broken, scattered across the city, their once powerful tones now muted by the weight of centuries. The ruins we pass through are quiet, save for the soft sighs of the wind as it moves through the stone, carrying with it the faintest remnants of the song. Each ruin, each shattered instrument, is like a verse of a forgotten lullaby, a trace of something once beautiful, now lost to the tides of time. As we stand before the remnants of a temple, we feel the presence of the music more than hear it. The stone walls, though cracked and crumbling, seem to resonate with an energy that we cannot fully comprehend. It is as if the very structure of this sacred space was built to amplify sound, to hold the music of the cosmos within it. We imagine the great priests and priestesses who once stood here, their voices raised in song, their hands playing the instruments that connected the earth to the stars. What wisdom did they unlock with their melodies? What truths did they reveal through the language of sound? We move deeper still, passing through the heart of the city, where the once grand structures now lie in ruin, their purpose obscured by time. The air feels thick with memory, as if the city itself is waiting to tell us its story. But it speaks only in fragments, in the soft hum of something just beyond our reach. It is said that the music of this city was not just a tool of communication, but a living force, a current that flowed through the veins of the earth, connecting all things, the stars, the people, the very land beneath our feet. As we wander, the fragments of the song begin to take form, rising from the silence like the first notes of a melody long forgotten. The sound is faint at first, just a whisper, a breath, as if the song is struggling to be heard. But with each passing moment, it grows stronger, filling the air with the resonance of something ancient, something eternal. The music is not a memory, not a sound from the past, but a presence, something that lingers in the very fabric of the city, waiting to be heard again. And so, we listen, with open hearts and ears, as the city begins to sing once more. The melody flows through the ruins, winding its way through the streets like a river of sound, echoing off the crumbling stone. It is not a song we can fully understand, but a language of the gods, too ancient for us to decipher. But still, we feel it, the pull of the melody, the rhythm that once held the city together, the pulse that once beat in time with the stars. As we stand there, bathed in the soft moonlight, the song begins to fade, slipping away as if it were a dream, just beyond our grasp. The ruins remain, silent once more, the music receding like the tide, leaving behind only the faintest traces of its presence. Perhaps the song was never meant to be fully heard, only felt. Perhaps the city, like its song, was always meant to live in the spaces between the stars, in the quiet moments when we are ready to listen. The final notes of the song drift away, leaving only the silence of the night. The city rests, its secrets held close, its music now a memory. And yet, as we turn to leave, we know that the song still lingers, somewhere beneath the silence, echoing through the dust, waiting for someone, someday, to hear it again. Perhaps it was never meant to be fully found. Perhaps the music was never meant to be fully understood. But in the quiet of the night, beneath the watchful gaze of the stars, the echoes of the song will always remain. And somewhere, in the ruins, the melody still waits. Some voices only echo when we are ready to listen. And perhaps, in the stillness of time, the song of the forgotten city will return not as a sound, but as a feeling, a trace of something eternal, waiting for us to remember.